Dear Dad, greetings from the new Deputy Curator at Beech Hill Museum in Washington, D.C. I miss you, by the way. How's Africa? I sure hope this letter reaches you in Ouagadougou before you move on to Nairobi. So I got the internship. Your old friend Franklin Rose was awfully nice to submit my name to the rest of the members of the museum's board of directors. What an opportunity while I'm in between cases. As you probably know, the museum specializes in ancient Maya culture. My supervisor is going to be Joanna Riggs, a well-known archaeologist. Maybe you've seen her name in the news recently, in conjunction with the discovery of a strange Maya monolith. Apparently, it's created quite a buzz among experts in the field. Well, Beech Hill plans to feature the monolith in an upcoming exhibition. Just imagine, this artifact has been buried for hundreds of years, and now it's going to be unveiled to the public for the first time. The museum is short-staffed at the moment, and they're expecting such a huge turnout that they've closed their doors to prepare. I can hardly wait to dig into this exciting project and learn how archaeologists and historians solve the mysteries of ancient cultures. I'll keep you posted. Love, Nancy.
Nancy Drew, I presume. I'm Joanna Riggs. Welcome to Beech Hill. I was just checking the lock on this display case. This is one of the museum's most treasured pieces, a carving of King Pakal.
Who is King Pakal?
Pakal assumed the throne at age 12. Can you imagine? That was 615 A.D. He ruled for 68 years at the height of the Maya civilization.
Is that jade?
Yes, the Maya loved jade and used it for many of their carvings. There isn't another piece like this in the world, and it's priceless, which means I practically had to sell my own grandmother to get it.
How did the museum acquire it?
Leave it to Taylor Sinclair. He's a wizard when it comes to these deals. You'll meet him later. Now then, Nancy, you're coming on board at a critical time for Beech Hill. An exhibit of this caliber is not kid stuff. Franklin Rose assures me you're a real trooper, and I hope he's right because I'm not here to babysit. I don't care who your father is.
I'm glad to be here. Please, tell me more about the exhibit.
In addition to our permanent collection, we're borrowing rare pieces from museums and private collectors around the world. Soon we'll be sitting on the most fabulous collection of Maya artifacts ever assembled in one place. And now that we've scored the monolith, too, Beech Hill sera numero uno.
Was the monolith excavated in Mexico?
Yes, a hot young team of archaeologists, Americans and Mexicans both, dug it out of a cave near Palenque. Every curator from here to Siberia was trying to get a hold of it, but I'm the one who closed the deal.
Did Beech Hill buy it?
No. We could barely afford the price of the loan, for one thing. And besides, nowadays, it's not even legal to sell artifacts out of the country of their origin.
What does this monolith look like?
It's a massive pillar of stone, nearly 1,500 years old, with Maya glyphs carved into it. We've installed it in the garden. Wait until you see it.
How do you know it's 1,500 years old?
According to Henrik, the monolith was made at the special request of King Pakal himself, but we don't know what its purpose was.
Are glyphs a kind of writing?
A glyph, as in hieroglyphic, is a picture that represents a word or an idea. Henrik is the human encyclopedia on the subject.
How do you translate them?
Henrik can help you with that.
Henrik, is he on staff here at the museum?
Henrik Vanderheun, world-renowned expert in Maya hieroglyphics. He's the latest addition to the Beech Hill Brain Trust. I told him I don't even want to see his pointy Vander head till he's got a translation on that monolith.
Do you think the glyphs hold an important message?
I really don't know. The Maya were at their peak during Pakal's reign. After he died, things began to go downhill. The civilization never regained the oomph it had under its most extraordinary king.
What was the key to Pakal's success?
If the message on that monolith is from King Pakal himself, it might give us a clue. Credit for a discovery like that can only spell one thing, my dear. Revenue. Anyway, there's a list of tasks for you in the lab. Once you've knocked those off, we'll regroup.
shouldn't I have more training?
Don't worry, you'll be in the swing of things soon enough. Go ahead and take a look around the museum. I'm sure you'll find the monolith, muy interesante. Or just roll up your sleeves and hit the lab.
Thanks for the orientation, Joanna. I'll talk to you later.
Bye!
Topeka Commission for the Arts. How cultured. The knob is missing. Topeka Commission for the Arts. That's the organization Prudence Rutherford works for. It's locked. It's locked. should put in my temple key card. It needs a card. Just one more tile. this side looks damaged.
Nancy Drew, or should I say, Detective Drew. I'm Sinclair.
Hi there. I guess you've done your homework.
I was at a meeting with the BOD recently, and I caught wind of your appointment and your credentials. Very impressive, if I do say so myself.
Well, I'm not on a case right now, that's for sure. I'm the new Deputy Curator, remember?
So, how's this for a specimen? Ever seen $1 million worth of rock before?
Do diamonds count?
Ouch. Well, they did say you were sharp. Seriously, though, thank goodness you're here. I'm afraid the museum may be in terrible jeopardy.
Oh no! Is there something I can do?
Joanna told me to butt out, but I'm so fond of Beech Hill, I just hate to see it fall prey to scoundrels.
What scoundrels?
It's a sensitive subject. Meet me in my office later and I'll explain everything then.
Where's your office?
707 Bing Cherry Boulevard. I've got to go. Enjoy your first day at Beech Hill.
Looks like this side is missing a part. It's locked.
You must be Nancy, the new Deputy Curator. I'm Henrik Vanderheun.
Pleased to meet you. What are you working on?
Just some light housekeeping.
Huh? Housekeeping?
Keeping artifacts clean is an important aspect of preserving them. Anyway, what can I do for you?
I'm not sure how to go about rearranging those exhibit narrations.
It's really quite simple. Check out the Convermatic Auto Narrator in Shipping and Receiving. You'll need some headphones. First, determine which of the exhibits in the main hall could rightly be called Exhibit A. Change Exhibit A's narration number until you're seeing what you're hearing, or hearing what you're seeing, and it's all downhill from there.
I'm curious about your work. How do you go about translating a glyph anyway?
It can be a complicated process, involving research, piecing lots of different elements together, and a healthy dose of guesswork.
So there isn't a definitive dictionary of Maya glyphs where you can look things up?
Oh, I'm afraid not. You see, glyphs are so intricate and full of subtleties that multiple meanings may be embedded in a single glyph. So 3 distinct-looking glyphs may all translate to mean sunshine, roughly, but with different nuances. There is so much we still don't know. Lucky for me, I guess, or I'd be out of a job.
What is the Spectro-X Archeo Analyzer for?
It's used for identifying chemical compounds that are found on artifacts, traces of ink, blood, charcoal, and other substances. The beauty of the machine is that it can collect these traces without damaging the artifact in any way. But it cost us a fortune, so don't fiddle with it unless you get Joanna's permission.
Joanna turned me loose without too many instructions. Do you have any advice for me?
Well, as you've probably heard, the museum is closed in preparation for the exhibit, so you'll have free run of the place. Please explore. The sooner you get to know your way around, the better. Think of the lab as your home base, your center of communications. Anyone who wants to get in touch with you will leave a note or a voicemail here, so check in often. I'm very busy with my work, so you're going to have to be pretty independent, but I suspect you wouldn't have it any other way.
See you around, Henrik.
That will be fine.
It's locked. It's locked. I didn't finish it yet.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an outside line. You have no voicemail.
Silvio's Curatorial Bonanza.
I'd like to place an order, please.
Have you ordered from us before?
Yes, I think so. We have an account number.
Okay, good. That saves me a lot of paperwork. What's the account number?
BH119K.
BH119... BH119K? Beech Hill? Are you serious?
That's right. I'm the new Deputy Curator, Nancy Drew.
Well, whoop-de-doo, it's Nancy Drew. But Silvio's Curatorial Bonanza no longer does business with Beech Hill. I've sent all 6 of the outstanding invoices to a collection agency. And you jokers won't get another packing peanut out of Silvio Jr. ever. Do not call here again.
Greetings.
I'm supposed to order more packing supplies, but the company says they won't do business with us anymore. Does Beech Hill have bills it can't pay?
No comment.
But Henrik, how am I supposed to get this order taken care of?
I hereby absolve you of that task. If Joanna wants things shipped, she can stuff them into garbage bags for all I care.
Did you know the Deputy Curator who was here before me?
Hurricane Sunny? I'm afraid I did. If he wasn't losing paperwork or setting off the fire alarm, he was cornering our visitors with his theory that the Maya were abducted by aliens. I'm afraid you'll be cleaning up his messes for a while.
Can I give that ham radio a try?
Absolutely not. The radio is a tool, not a toy. One has to be extremely careful about the kind of information one sends out over the airwaves. And I do not have time to monitor you. And besides, the vacuum tubes have been terribly fussy lately. If another one blows, I think I'll go mental.
See you around, Henrik.
Will do.
I'd better check to see if I'm done with that.
How may I help you?
Buenos dias. Me llamo Nancy Drew. I have some paperwork for you regarding the loan of the Palenque monolith to Beech Hill.
So, you're Joanna Riggs' newest pirate in training. How does it feel to join the ranks with the modern-day conquistadors?
I beg your pardon, but how does a deputy curator become a pirate in your book?
You had better brush up on your history, young lady. When the Spanish explorers invaded Mexico, they became known as the conquistadors, or conquerors. They robbed the indigenous peoples of their wealth, not just their gold, but their artwork, their sacred objects. Anything they did not steal, they burned to the ground.
Do you blame Joanna and modern-day art collectors for something that happened long before they were born?
There is more. In the 19th century, archaeologists discovered the ruins of ancient civilizations predating even the Aztecs. Many of the dig sites were robbed, and the stolen artifacts were sold off to art museums and collectors around the world. Today, finally, it is illegal among most civilized nations to remove an artifact from its native country. But sadly, there are thousands of precious antiquities with highly questionable provenance floating around the Western world.
But Joanna only wants to display this artwork, to celebrate it, so the public will be able to enjoy it and learn about your people's great talents and achievements.
If the American public wants to see our art, they should come to Mexico.
What do you mean by questionable provenance?
An artifact's provenance is the story of its origin and ownership. For example, how it made its way from a temple at Chichen Itza to a museum in Washington, D.C. If the artifact's provenance reveals that it has been stolen, then that artifact must be returned to the country of its origin.
Then the relics at Beech Hill must all be legitimate, right?
No, not at all. Provenance documents are often tampered with or forged to cover up the theft. Because of this, thefts continue and a great deal of art is moved on the black market, even today. Unethical art dealers and greedy museum curators do nothing to stop this.
Are you suggesting Beech Hill is involved in these kinds of misdealings?
If Joanna Riggs or that overstuffed pillowhead Sinclair had any decency, they would take measures to see that all Maya artifacts were returned to Mexico at once where they belong.
And what if these measures are not taken?
My country will have its due, Nancy, even if I have to begin reclaiming its artifacts with my own two hands.
I see. Well, I should probably get going. Here are the changes to the loan agreement for the monolith. I just need your signature, please. I guess I should give him the contract.
Thank you. I have some business with Joanna at the museum later, so I will return the contract to her then, after I have looked it over.
Are you sure? I don't mind waiting.
You may consider your mission accomplished.
Well, okay then.
Goodbye.
Good thing Franklin gave me the museum key.
Greetings.
See you around, Henrik.
That will be fine.
The Maya kings were often in a protracted state of war with local Kahals. Here, Bird Jaguar stands to the right as a captured lord kneels at his feet. The Kahal holds a strange, supernatural creatures, sometimes strange, supernatural creatures, sometimes called monsters, played an important role in Maya mythology. These monsters were often associated with the earth, caves, or mountains. The bicephalic monster, sometimes called the celestial or cosmic monster, may have represented the sunrise or a long journey. Ritualized bloodletting was a common practice among the Maya. In this panel, 3 captives wear garments associated with bloodletting. A variety of instruments including stingray spines, thorns, and bone awls were employed for this activity. Archaeologists work in some of the most remote areas of the world. Ham radios are often the only means of contacting the outside world. HAM is an acronym for Handheld Amateur Radio. Strange, supernatural creatures, sometimes called monsters, played an important role in Maya mythology. These monsters were often associated with the earth, caves, or mountains. The bicephalic monster, sometimes called the celestial or cosmic monster, may have represented the sunrise or a long journey. Strange. In addition to adorning themselves with jewelry and costumes, the Maya shaped their bodies to heighten their beauty. Beads were dangled in front of infants' faces to encourage crossed eyes, a trait considered attractive to the Maya. In addition to adorning,
The Maya were pantheistic, believing in many gods who ruled over different aspects of Maya life. Chak was the god of rain. Ixchel, goddess of the moon, presided over childbirth and basket weaving. Ahau Kin represented the sun.
ceramic bowls, such as the one featured in this exhibit, may have been used as vessels for burnt offerings of incense or corn. This bowl was either dedicated to or used to supplicate the god of war, Balak.
It's locked.
The Maya used different methods to represent numbers. Here is an example of the numbers from 0 to 19, from top left to bottom right. Notice how some numbers are represented with bars and dots, and some are represented with pictures.
Although the geographic range of Maya cities is well known, it is difficult to determine the range of Maya influence. Some experts believe the Maya may have traveled as far south as the Amazon and as far north as North America. I am Lord Pakal, ruler of the mighty kingdom of Palenque. All those who come before me witness my power.
Lord Pakal is considered the most influential ruler of the Maya civilization. Cultural, scientific, and military achievement flourished under his reign. As with all Maya kings, very little is known about his personal life, since all written inscriptions dealt solely with public achievements such as wars, battles, coronations, births, marriages, and deaths.
Lady Zach Cook ruled Palenque before her son ascended the throne in 615 CE. Maya tradition required that the kingship be handed down from father to son, but Lady Zach Cook broke this custom by establishing herself as a deity. This gave her the power to justify the new royal lineage. Because his mother had been deified, Pakal often referred to himself as the first true king. Lady Zach Cook ruled Palenque before her son ascended the throne in 615 CE. Maya tradition required that the kingship be handed down from father to son, but Lady Zach Cook broke this custom by establishing herself as a deity. This gave her the power to justify the new royal lineage. Because his mother had been deified, Pakal often referred to himself as the first true king. The Maya ball game was a religious activity as well as a spectator sport. Players would propel a rubber ball through a small stone hoop using their thighs, hips, and forearms. It is believed that the players were often sacrificed after a game. The date on this slab uses the Tzolk'in, or divine calendar, made up of 20 weeks each with a named day and 13 weeks each with a numerical day. The two types of weeks progress independently of each other.
Archaeologists work in some of the most remote areas of the world. Ham radios are often the only means of contacting the outside world. HAM is an acronym for Handheld Amateur Radio.
The date on this slab uses the four miniature gods clinging to the
Ritualized bloodletting was a
The Maya ball game was a
In addition to adorning themselves with
Maya scribes recorded the
Maya used different methods to represent numbers. Here is an example of the numbers from 0 to 19, from top left to
The date on this slab, the four miniature gods clinging.
Ritualized bloodletting was
The Maya ball game.
In addition to adorning themselves with jewelry and costumes, the Maya shaped their bodies to heighten their beauty. Beads were dangled in front of infants' faces to encourage crossed eyes. In addition to adorning themselves with jewelry,
The Maya ball game was a religious.
Ritualized bloodletting was
The four miniature gods clinging to the vision. The date on this slab uses the Tzolk'in.
Archaeologists work in some of the most remote.
Although the geographic range of
The Maya used different methods.
Maya scribes.
In addition to adorning themselves,
The Maya ball game was a religious.
Ritualized bloodletting.
The four miniature gods clinging to. The date on this slab.
Strange supernatural creatures. Archaeologists work in some of the most remote.
Maya scribes recorded the.
Strange supernatural creatures, sometimes. The Maya used different methods
I am Lord Pakal. Although the geographic range of Maya cities is well known, it is difficult to determine the range of Maya influence. Some experts believe the Maya
used different methods. Archaeologists work in some of the most ceramic bowls.
The Maya were pantheistic, believing in Lady Zach Cook ruled, I am Lord Pakal.
The Maya kings were often in a strange supernatural.
The date on this slab uses the Tzolk'in, or divine calendar, made up of 20 weeks each with a name.
In addition to adorning themselves with strange supernatural creatures, the Maya kings were often in a protracted state of.
The Maya were pantheistic, believing in many gods who ruled over different. The date on this slab uses the Tzolk'in, or divine calendar, made up of 20 weeks.
Strange supernatural. The Maya kings were often.
I am Lord. Lady Zach Cook ruled Palenque before her son ascended the throne in 615 CE. The four miniature gods clinging to the vision serpent are the headband twins, Hun Ahau and Balaam, and the twins of sacrificial dance, Chak Shibj Chak, and the baby jaguar. The Maya were particularly fascinated with twins, and many of the Maya
ceramic bowls, such as the one.
Lady Zach Cook ruled Palenque before her son ascended the throne in 615 CE. Maya tradition required that the kingship. Lady Zach Cook. I am Lord Pakal, rule.
The Maya kings were often strange soup.
The date on this slab uses the four miniature gods clinging to the.
Ritualized bloodletting was a common practice among the Maya. In this panel,
The Maya ball game was a religion.
In addition to adorning them,
Maya scribes recorded.
The Maya used different methods to.
Although the geographic range of Maya cities is.
Archaeologists work in some of the most remote ceramic bowls, such as.
The Maya were pantheistic, believing. Lady Zach Cook ruled Palenque before her son ascended the throne in 615 CE. Maya. The date on this slab uses the Tzolk'in, or divine calendar, made up of 20 weeks each with a named day and 13 weeks each with a numerical day. The two types of weeks progress.
Ritualized bloodletting was a common practice among the Maya. In this panel,
Lady Zach. The Maya ball game was a
ritualized blood. Archaeologists work in
Maya scribes
strange super. The Maya used different methods.
I am Lord Pakal. The date on this slab uses the.
There, that looks like it's in order. It's locked. It's locked. It's locked. There, now I can start putting this together. That's done.
It's about time! Oh, my fears are like maggots infesting my poor old carcass. Want a cookie? They're from Oaxaca.
No, thank you. You said Beech Hill is in jeopardy. I need to know why.
The art world is being ransacked, Nancy. Prudence Rutherford, a major patron of the arts, had her fire ruby necklace stolen from her villa in Topeka. 2 weeks later, a whole display case full of rare Maya artifacts was heisted from a museum in New Mexico.
What does this have to do with Beech Hill?
I'm just telling you, this community, our friends and colleagues, my people are being systematically trounced by thugs. Who's to say Beech Hill won't be next? You've got to do something.
Doesn't Beech Hill have a security system in place?
The museum has a basic alarm system, but it's not exactly state-of-the-art. I've urged Joanna to approach the board about making some security upgrades, but she just keeps saying that the timing isn't right to ask for money.
I understand your concern, but what can I do to help?
We need your eagle eyes. We need your bat ears. We need you to sniff out the stink of trouble.
I'll do my best, but it sounds like what you really need is a new breed of police dog.
Don't play modest mouse with me.
Okay, no more flattery. Hey, that's an interesting piece, there by your desk. Something tells me it's not a Maya artifact.
How about that rubber shark? The artist's name is Poppy Dada. She's a teenager in South Dakota. The art world is going bananas over her stuff. I'll unload that one for some serious dinero.
Joanna says you performed an act of wizardry in helping Beech Hill acquire the Pakal carving.
Getting those provenance docs together was a pig and a half. Oh, they're on the up and up, I assure you. But to have been at the height of my career back before the crackdown, those were the days.
What crackdown?
Maybe sometime I'll tell you a sad story I call How Mexico Lost Its Sense of Humor. Not today, though, Nancy.
Alejandro says you're unethical, a modern-day conquistador, that you're robbing Mexico of its cultural history.
And I say Alejandro is the real bully of the playground. A lunch money extortionist who loves nothing more than to see the other boys and girls go hungry.
When you sell a piece of art, what kind of commission do you get?
Standard, 10%. It's no king's ransom, unless of course you sell something for $1 million. Too bad I'm not allowed to put that monolith on the market, huh?
I'd better get going.
See you around.
Buenos dias.
Why did Mexico choose to lend the monolith to Beech Hill and not some other museum?
Johanna Riggs outbid everyone. I had no idea a small museum like Beech Hill could afford such an expensive arrangement.
Do you consider Henrik a conquistador, along with Joanna Riggs and Sinclair?
Henrik is a student of my culture and my heritage, not trying to buy and sell it. We don't agree on everything, especially not baseball, but I have nothing against him.
I should get back to the museum.
Goodbye.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an...
Beech Hill's been hit. Sit tight, Nancy. The police are on their way. Someone has cooked up my worst nightmare and served it to me on a plate.
I'd like to have a look at the crime scene myself. Did the police turn up any clues?
The police took some samples for the crime lab, but they couldn't promise any overnight results. So if you want to put your little magnifying glass up to the scene, it's fine with me.
What were their initial findings?
Who knows? Right now, my priority is to get a move on this insurance claim.
Why did you become a museum curator?
I became a curator because I want to help make artifacts available to as many people as possible. That's all that matters, isn't it? Unless you're Alejandro Del Rio.
When did Henrik come on board?
I got an email from him one day saying he heard the news about Beech Hill getting the monolith. He said he'd drop everything to come here and translate those glyphs. He was even willing to take a pay cut. What could I say except giddy up? You're hired.
Can you explain how you want me to reorder that Maya numbering exhibit?
Check with Henrik on that.
Do you think Alejandro would go to extreme measures, like stealing, to reclaim Mexico's artifacts?
Who knows?
I've got work to do.
Semper ubi sub ubi.
Nancy, hi. It's Franklin Rose. I'm calling because it's just... This theft is very bad news for the museum. You can't imagine the limb we went out on to acquire that Pakal carving. It's been one of the museum's main attractions. I don't want to take you away from your internship, but if you can do a little investigating, well, I think I speak for the whole board when I say we'd be very grateful. Give me a call when you have a chance. And Nancy, thanks.
To replay messages, press 0. Press 9 for an outside line.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call? This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please. Just a minute, please.
Nancy, hello. Do you have any news?
Not really, but something tells me this case is going to get complicated.
Oh, Nancy, you zero in on a case like a heat-seeking missile, don't you? I feel so much better knowing you're going to follow up on every lead. I'll help in any way I can.
Thanks, Mr. Rose.
That's what I'm here for.
Need something?
Have you seen Henrik? I found a piece of paper inside the Pakal display case. It had some glyphs on it and a print of a red hand. I'm hoping he can give me a translation.
What am I, fish food? Henrik's not the only one around here who can read a glyph, you know.
Okay, great. Did you happen to see the thief's message?
The police showed me the note. It said, "The magician suffers yellow death," whatever that means. Apparently, the thief just couldn't come up with the glyphs for "The Curator suffers flaming purple disgrace."
I'm curious about the red handprint the thief left. Does it have any significance in Maya culture?
Afraid I can't help you there. What I want to know is what the hand was printed with. It's obviously not finger paint. Why don't you do a little analysis on it in the lab?
I haven't seen Henrik since the theft. Where do you think he could be?
Who knows?
It's a fiasco, just as I feared. Oh, I'm sick about the whole thing.
Yes, your fears seem to have been quite visionary.
I was in the museum when it happened.
Do you think it's the same person who carried out those other thefts?
That awful red hand was left on Prudence Rutherford's jewelry box in Topeka and on the display case in the museum in New Mexico. What's the chance they're not connected?
Do you know Prudence Rutherford personally?
Oh, we saw each other at functions now and then. Poor Prudence. She adored that necklace.
What's the name of the museum in New Mexico?
The Chaco Canyon Cultural Center. They had a beautiful collection up there, worth a bundle, too. I appraised some pieces for them a few years back.
Why do you think the thief is leaving this red handprint?
To be a gruesome scoundrel?
The Pakal thief's glyph message translates to, "The magician suffers yellow death." What in the world do you think that means?
You've got me there.
I'd better get going.
Keep up the good work.
Hello, Nancy.
Do you know much about Maya glyphs?
You've got me there. I know Spanish, English, Portuguese, and several indigenous languages, including Quiche and Nahuatl, but I have yet to learn the language of glyphs.
Have you heard? The Pakal carving was stolen from the museum.
Well, I heard the alarms going off, but it wasn't until Henry called me that I heard the news.
You don't sound very concerned about all of this.
I was running late. I just figured somebody tripped a wire and I kept going. Whew.
I'll need to alert the police so they can ask you some questions.
I have diplomatic immunity, so I do not have to answer any questions. But I will because I have nothing to hide.
Don't you care about the disappearance of such a rare Maya artifact?
That artifact was lost to me as soon as it left Mexican soil. So my friend Pakal goes underground for a while until he is sold again. Suddenly, he turns up in Amsterdam or Hong Kong. Unless he is rightfully repatriated to Mexico, what's the difference?
I should get back to the museum.
Yes, you should.
Need something?
Apparently, a Topeka woman named Prudence Rutherford has recently been visited by a red-handed thief, too. Do you have any idea how I might get in touch with her?
Afraid I can't help you there.
I've got work to do.
Semper ubi sub ubi.
looks right. Okay, I've got a graph of the chemical used for the handprint. Now I've got to match it up with a known substance. That's it. I should take the handprint with me. That doesn't work. S stands for sulfur. According to this chart, Hg stands for mercury. So the handprint was made from mercury and sulfur.
Need something?
I did the chemical analysis you suggested. That red hand was printed with a compound containing mercury and sulfur. Does that mean anything to you?
Sure, cinnabar. The Maya would rub it into their most important carvings to add definition to the artist's lines.
Does the museum keep cinnabar around?
We use cinnabar here at the museum the same way the Maya did, to keep things as authentic as possible. Henrik orders those kinds of supplies, but we've been out of stock for quite a while. The last I heard, there was some kind of holdup with the distributor.
I've got work to do.
Go to it.
You have no voicemail.
Keep it real. Max speaking.
Hi, do you sell a compound of mercury and sulfur?
Mercuric sulfide? Oh, we sure do. How much do you need? First things first. What account's this for?
Actually, I didn't call to place an order. I just need some information on Beech Hill's ordering history.
Well, hello there, Beech Hill. Hey, you're not Sunny June. Whatever happened to that guy? I suppose he caught a ride on a flying saucer, huh? What a riot. I'm sorry. Anyway, you don't need to reorder, do you? Unless you ate last week's shipment for breakfast, that is.
You're sure it was last week?
Well, that's what it says here.
Do you know who placed that order?
Well, the initials on the order are JR.
Was the package shipped to the museum?
Oh? Oops, I guess we didn't ship it at all. It looks like the package was picked up here at the warehouse.
So there hasn't been a hold-up at the distributor or anything like that?
Hold up. Oh, I don't know where you heard that. We've got enough mercuric sulfide in-house to sink a ship.
Can you remember anything about the person who picked up the package?
I sure can't. Guess I must have been at lunch or something.
Well, thanks for your help.
Sure thing. I hope there wasn't any problem with the stuff, was there? We only used a top-grade mercuric sulfide.
Judging by the impression it left, I'd have to agree that the quality was fine.
Well, you sound a little green in the chemicals department, if you don't mind my saying so. I hope you know that mercuric sulfide is highly toxic. Makes you crazy.
Well, I have heard that mercury poisoning can cause hallucinations and other symptoms of psychosis.
Oh, looks like I've got another call coming in here. You give us a call in about 4 months or so when you start to run out, okie doke? And don't forget to keep it real.
Henrik! Henrik!
Amnesia? Wow. Henrik must have taken a real nosedive off that pyramid.
Do you think he just fell, Nancy?
Or was he pushed?
Sounds like you need to find out about hospital visiting hours.
Yeah, but you'd better get the lowdown from Joanna first.
George is right. She is your supervisor, after all.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call? This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please. Just a minute, please.
Nancy, to what do I owe the pleasure of this call?
I need to contact a woman named Prudence Rutherford. I noticed she's on the board of the Topeka Commission for the Arts, and that they've donated money to Beech Hill. Any idea how I might track her down?
Well, you're in luck. It so happens that Prudence and I sat on the panel of judges for the Kansas Speak No Evil Mime competition for 3 years in a row, back when I lived in Wichita. How's that for a small world?
Dad never told me you lived in Wichita.
Indeed I did. I haven't talked to Prudence in about 10 years. But let's see if I still have her in this old dinosaur of a Rolodex. Ah, yes, here we go. Got a pen? It's area code 785-555-7279. What's this all about?
Miss Rutherford had a necklace with a Maya artifact stolen right out of her home. I'm trying to see if there's any connection between these robberies.
Ha! You're a real pro, Nancy. Say, why don't I call ahead and let Prudence know what's going on? That way I can say hello and she'll be expecting you.
Now I think you're reading my mind, Mr. Rose. Thanks.
Not a problem, dear.
First, the Pakal carving is stolen, and now my star glyph man bumps his head and forgets his own name? What's next, Nancy? Del Rio pulls the plug on the monolith, the board clams up on my funding, my mother posts my old prom pictures on the internet.
Take it easy, Joanna. I'm sure everything is going to be okay.
What I need from you right now is action, not commentary, Nancy. Will you follow up with the hospital and see if there's anything we can do to get Henrik's marbles back?
How can I help around here?
You can also pick up Henrik's mail if he gets any. Keep the lab in order and just try to help me keep the entire museum from going up in smoke.
I've got work to do.
See you around.
You have voicemail.
This message is for Nancy Drew. Hi, Nancy. This is Nurse Bluefoot calling from Eleanor Roosevelt Memorial Hospital in regards to Henrik Vanderheun. I believe you're a colleague of his? Since Mr. Vanderheun was admitted, he has repeated your name several times in states of semi-consciousness. As we've been unable to contact any of his family members, we're hoping you might be willing to act as Henrik's support person as he begins the difficult process of restoring his memory. Please call me as soon as possible to discuss this. My direct line is 202-555-4000. Thank you.
To replay messages, press 0. Press 9.
This is Nurse Bluefoot.
Nurse Bluefoot, this is Nancy Drew. You left me a message regarding Henrik Vanderheun. How is he?
Nancy Drew? Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm so relieved. We've been unable to locate any family members, and we do like amnesia patients to have at least one personal support person when they begin reality orientation.
What's reality orientation?
Well, reality orientation is a kind of treatment that helps a patient get reacquainted with the facts and circumstances of his or her life. Henrik has not actually lost his memory. It's just that his brain is injured in such a way that he can't access the place where the memories are stored.
So, how does he regain access to the storage place?
First, we do repetitive memory exercises to help Henrik relearn the basic facts like his name and address, the name of his parakeet, if he has one, the date, and so on. Second, we try to stimulate Henrik's sensory memories in order to help trigger or find the way back to his cognitive memories.
Where do I come in?
You can't help Henrik remember his childhood, but you can probably help him remember his work, and who knows where that will take him. All roads lead to Rome, as they say. One great tool is the Reality Orientation Board. This is a place to post information and pictures for the patient to look at over a period of time. You may want to bring in images or photos to place on the board. Things from the museum, perhaps.
I see. Well, I'll be happy to help in any way I can. When are visiting hours?
Visiting hours are 10 to 4 every day, if the patient is not engaged in treatment and if he seems stable.
Great. Is there anything else?
Just remember, Henrik's brain has been knocked around like a peanut in its shell. He may have attention difficulties, headaches, anxiety. Sometimes he may seem giddy, too. We need to keep these conditions in check. Don't push him too hard, or he may have some kind of meltdown.
Well, the last thing we want is a meltdown. I'll go easy on him.
Bye-bye.
You look familiar. Is it time for my snack?
Hi, Henrik. I'm Nancy. We met at Beech Hill before your head injury.
Beech Hill?
Beech Hill is a museum here in Washington, D.C. The curator's name is Joanna Riggs. You were working there, and that's where your accident happened. Do you remember anything about the accident?
Joanna Riggs. Is that the woman who called to pick my brain for an access code?
Joanna called? What did you tell her?
Where in my poor banged-up head would I be keeping access codes? I don't even remember my own birthday. So if you're here to squeeze me for details, you're wasting your time.
According to Nurse Bluefoot, you haven't lost any data. Your brain just doesn't know how to locate certain things at the moment. We need to give it some clues.
How, pray tell, do you intend to do that?
I'll visit, we'll talk. Sometimes I'll bring you pictures.
Pictures? Well, isn't this nice?
Think of it this way. You just got back from a fabulous trip, only you can't remember the places you went. So you decide to look through postcards to see which ones you recognize.
Fine, I'll do it.
Okay, here we go. These symbols mean the magician suffers yellow death.
Your translator is sloppy. I should know. I am the author of the original work.
The author? What are you talking about?
That first glyph is the fool, not the magician. Furthermore, any decent epigrapher knows those glyphs refer to the infamous plague of oozing hives. A fitting curse for a fool, don't you think? I rather like it.
Henrik, this note was found at a crime scene. Are you telling me you left it there?
I don't remember.
The Pakal carving is priceless and irreplaceable. If you stole it, this is your opportunity to come clean and return it to the museum.
Who in the world is Pakal? Oh, my head. Oh, the pressure. I can't take any more today, Nancy.
Okay, it's time for some memory therapy. Nancy, could you come back tomorrow?
Any news?
I need a photo of the Pakal carving. Do you have one?
Joanna took the official print for her insurance claim, but I have a couple extras. Here you go. Keep up the good work.
Buenos dias.
Have you heard? Henrik Vanderheun fell off the pyramid at the museum. He's in the hospital with a mysterious head injury.
That is terrible news. I hope it's not too serious.
Do you know what cinnabar is?
The red powder that the Maya used? Sure, I know it. They use it at Beech Hill too, do they not?
Cinnabar was used to make the red handprint that was left at the scene of the Pakal theft.
What is your point?
I think Joanna may have been less than truthful with me.
Have you called the police?
I don't want to jump to conclusions.
Of course. Sister Joanna couldn't possibly be a thief now, could she?
I should get back to the museum.
Adios, Nancy.
Well, look who it is.
Hi, Henrik. I've come to talk Maya Kings. Let's see if this photo rings any bells. This will help you to remember.
That face. He's as familiar as my own feet.
Do you know his name?
Pakal. Nancy, this is the stolen carving, isn't it? And I'm the one who took it. I must have. But why? Oh, Pakal, what could I have meant by this?
Think, Henrik. Where's the carving now?
I can't remember.
All I need is some idea of where to look next. I'll take any scrap of memory you've got, Henrik.
It's still in the museum.
Are you sure, Henrik? Did you plan to sell the Pakal on the black market?
To protect him. I had to protect him. Oh, Pakal. Something is going on at that museum, a devious plot. I was the only one who could stand in the way.
Whose plot is this? Is it someone who's involved with the museum?
Forgive me, Nancy, but when I woke up in this hospital bed, I didn't even know my own name. Perhaps the only thing I can offer you is this key. It was found in one of my pockets when I was brought in.
Maybe that key goes to the lock where you hid the Pakal.
I haven't a clue. Take the key now, Nancy. Find out what it opens and return to me, please, with some answers.
We'll get to the bottom of this, I promise.
In the meantime, I'll sit with my friend Pakal and see if he will tell me anything new. You must keep this to yourself for now. It's your only hope of getting to the bottom of this.
Did you use Joanna's name last week to place an order for cinnabar with Keep It Real Restoration?
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
Do you think Joanna is behind the other thefts?
Who knows?
Do you know anything about the theft of Prudence Rutherford's necklace?
I can't remember.
You rest up. I'll be back.
Be careful.
Looks like I need to find someone who speaks Nahuatl.
You have voice.
Nancy, it's Joanna. The police are done giving me the 3rd degree, but now the board has suspended me. To make a long story short, I'm forbidden to set foot in the museum. Could you please call Franklin Rose and try to reason with him? If we don't get a move on, this exhibit is going straight down the tubes.
To replay messages, press 0. Press 9 for an outside...
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call? This is Nancy Drew, calling for Franklin Rose, please. Just a minute, please.
Nancy, you must be psychic. I was just getting ready to call you myself.
Oh, really? Why?
I feel I should apologize for the situation that's going on at the museum, dear. I really did think we were setting you up with a nice little internship, a breather from your casework, but instead it looks like we've fed you to the lions.
Well, in all my travels, I still haven't found a mystery-free zone, Mr. Rose.
Speaking of travel, I got a postcard from your father in Ouagadougou. Apparently, Burkina Faso has become the cultural darling of West Africa. He must be having quite an adventure.
Like father, like daughter. Anyway, Mr. Rose, I'm calling about Joanna.
I think I know what you're going to say, Nancy. Let me be frank. Joanna Riggs has been in the doghouse with the board for months. Her thirst for acclaim has led her to gamble the future and the reputation of Beech Hill time and again. Now that we've lost the Pakal carving, one of our most notable pieces, well, she's just got to be stopped.
Don't you believe she's genuinely concerned about the welfare of the museum?
Good intentions are no substitute for integrity and sound judgment, Nancy. Look, I've got a client waiting, Nancy. What we need now is for you to take up the slack. I've spoken to the rest of the board, and we've agreed that the best thing is to put you in charge.
What do you want me to do?
We're counting on you to catch this thief red-handed. Ha, ha. Just kidding, kiddo. If you can get the Pakal back, we'll see about giving Ms. Riggs another chance. That seems fair, doesn't it?
It's a deal, Mr. Rose.
Bye, kiddo.
I need a disc.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an outside line. You have no You have You have no voicemail.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to speak to Franklin Rose, please.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Rose is out of the office. Would you like to try back later?
Sure.
Thank you for calling Boswell, Jackson, and Rose.
Chaco Canyon Cultural Center.
Hi, I'm hoping to speak to someone about the theft that happened there recently.
Are you the press?
No, I'm a detective investigating a similar crime in Washington, D.C.
This is Sheila Schultz, the director. What would you like to know?
My name is Nancy Drew. I'm calling from the Beech Hill Museum in Washington, D.C. I understand you had some rare Maya artifacts stolen recently.
That's right. It's a terrible loss, and the police here have no leads.
Beech Hill was robbed, too. We lost one of our prized jade carvings.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
I'm wondering if the robberies are connected. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions about the incident at Chaco Canyon?
Fire away.
I heard the thief left a red handprint at the scene of the crime. Is that true?
Yes. It was very gruesome. It looked like blood, but according to the police analysis, the print was made with a mercuric sulfide paste.
Do you know of any symbolic meaning attached to a red hand?
Don't walk, don't go there, talk to the hand, as my 15-year-old would say? Really, I haven't the slightest idea.
What types of artifacts did the thief get away with?
Only the center's most prized pieces. The case contained 5 pre-Columbian artifacts that were excavated right from this area.
Do you have a list of the stolen pieces?
I know those pieces like the back of my hand. There were 3 pottery pieces, a small stone figurine with a snake head, and an ornamental jade carving.
I'm interested in the jade carving. What did it look like?
It was highly unusual. There was a glyph on it that no one could translate. Until we hired Henrik Vanderheun, that is. His opinion was that it's Mayan in origin, and that it may have been a place-name glyph for this area. As you can imagine, we regarded it as something of a regional treasure.
Do you know that Henrik Vanderheun works for Beech Hill now?
Yes, I know. His departure was a great loss for us.
Was Henrik still working at Chaco Canyon when the theft occurred?
No. It happened just a few days after he left. I remember because after the police left, the staff and I were so depressed, we went into the lounge and pigged out on the rest of Henrik's farewell cake.
Do you recall having some appraisal work done by an art dealer by the name of Taylor Sinclair?
How could I forget? He went on and on about the impossibly rare artifacts he could get for us. I said, "Are you an art dealer or a smuggler?" But he assured me that the provenance documents would all be in order. Still, I never did any further business with him. He just seemed slippery.
Could you send me a photo of that jade carving so I can take a look at the glyph?
I'm afraid I sent our only print off to the insurance company. They said they'd return it, but who knows when our claim will be processed. I'm sorry.
Thanks a million, Sheila.
Feel free to call if you have any more questions.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to speak to Franklin Rose, please.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Rose is out of the office. Would you like to try back later?
Sure.
Thank you for calling Boswell, Jackson, and Rose.
Curatorial. Press 9 for an out.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to speak to Franklin Rose, please.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Rose is out of the office. Would you like to try back later?
Sure.
Thank you for calling Boswell, Jackson, and Rose.
Buenos dias.
Have you heard? The police received an anonymous tip, and they're considering Joanna a prime suspect in the Bacall theft. They've taken her in for questioning.
I called in that tip. She lied about the Cinnabar, and you may not know this, but she has jeopardized the museum's finances with all of her wheeling and dealing. Why should she not be questioned?
How do you know about museum finances?
I have my sources.
I need to know the Nahuatl word for snake. Can you help me?
What do you need that word for?
I'd rather not say. It's part of my investigation.
Now, if only I could remember the word for snake. I hear you have been a great help to Henrik. I wonder if you can help me improve my memory too.
What are you talking about, Alejandro?
I am almost certain that the provenance documents for the Bacall carving were falsified. I have asked Joanna to see the documents, but she evades me. If you can find that file in her office and bring it to me, I think it might help my memory of Nahuatl a lot.
What makes you think they were falsified?
In Mexico, it is common knowledge that the carving was stolen from Bacall's tomb when it was first excavated. But no one has been able to prove it. If I can determine that the provenance documents are a fraud, this will be the first major step toward legal repatriation of the artwork, whenever and wherever it resurfaces.
Okay, Alejandro. I'll see what I can do.
I feel my Nahuatl coming back to me already. Do you know what Sihuapili means? Princess or lady. Now, if only I could remember the word for snake.
I should get back to the museum.
Goodbye.
What should I post here? What should I post here?
Hello, Nancy. You have a special delivery for me, I hope?
Here's your file, as requested.
Good work, my friend. I suppose you would like something in return?
I trust your Nahuatl has become fluent again.
The Nahuatl word for snake is coatl. C-O-A-T-L.
Muchas gracias. Gotta go.
Adios, Nancy.
Nancy, you have brought me back to my work.
What have you remembered?
I've been working like a fiend. Look at the board.
There's Henrik's password.
This has something to do with the plot at the museum, Nancy. I'm sure of it.
Who was this whisperer of silent secrets?
The whisperer came from a distinguished line of royal scribes. I can't seem to remember her name, but I do recall that she wrote an account of Maya history that greatly angered Pakal because of the way it depicted his ascent to the throne.
What did the scribe say? That Pakal had bad fashion?
From the age of 12, when he came to the throne, Pakal claimed to be divinely appointed the first true authentic king of the Maya. Then the whisperer came along and wrote that Pakal was only king because his mother pulled some strings. It was quite a blow to Pakal's image.
So he put her in a stone prison?
Pakal swore that the whisperer's words would never see the light of day. He put her body, her soul, and her writings all in a tomb and locked it up tight.
Wait, Henrik, a prison of stone? We're not talking about the monolith, are we?
That's the idea.
Does anyone else know about this?
Good question. I'm certain that there's a dirty rat trying to get into that tomb. This is where my memory fizzles out. If I could only figure out why I took the Pakal.
Do you think there is anyone I can trust?
Please don't breathe a word of this. There's too much at stake.
One of the pieces that was stolen from the Chaco Canyon Cultural Center was a jade carving with an unusual glyph on it. Do you remember translating it?
I can't remember.
Henrik, I need to know where you put the Pakal carving.
Who knows?
Have you ever been part of a smuggling racket?
I don't know.
Can you tell me what the password is to your disk?
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
Henrik, I need to know where you put the Pakal carving.
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
Can you tell me what the password is to your disk?
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
You rest up. I'll be back.
I'll do my best.
You have no voicemail. Press 9 for an outside line.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to speak to Franklin Rose, please.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Rose is out of the office. Would you like to try back later?
Sure.
Thank you for calling Boswell, Jackson, and Rose.
The radio tube went out. It's locked.
Atención, 8, 3, 2, 7, 1. 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 Atención.
Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to speak to Franklin Rose, please.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Rose is out of the office. Would you like to try back later?
Sure.
Thank you for calling Boswell, Jackson, and Rose. Boswell, Jackson, and Rose, how may I direct your call?
I'd like to speak to Franklin Rose, please.
I'm sorry, but Mr. Rose is out of the office. Would you like to try back later?
Sure.
Thank you for calling Boswell, Jackson, and Rose.
Yes, hello?
Hi, this is Nancy Drew, calling from Washington, D.C. I'm trying to reach Prudence Rutherford, please.
Oh, yes. Franklin told me you'd be calling. Such dreadful news about Beech Hill. I will do everything in my power to help you catch those rapscallions. To think how they violated the sanctity of my domicile. Good heavens!
I'm sorry to hear about your loss. What can you tell me about the necklace?
I can't even think about it. Oh, just the very thought of my precious necklace gone, stranded, orphaned, and in the hands of some dirty stranger makes my blood boil.
Was the necklace a gift?
I inherited it from my mother-in-law. But you see, the necklace means much more to me than just a handful of priceless rubies.
More? In what way?
I had the necklace restrung to include an exquisite jade carving as the centerpiece, a genuine artifact of the ancient Maya. The carving is not only one of a kind, but a Rutherford family heirloom given to me by my great-grandfather when I was just a little girl.
What does the jade piece look like?
It features a rare glyph. No one's been able to give me a precise translation, but most epigraphers have agreed that it has something to do with a snake, the color green, and the direction south. It's terribly fascinating.
Do you think the thief or thieves had any idea of what they were stealing?
Oh, they must have known. The rest of my valuables were left untouched. Frankly, I don't know whether to be grateful or insulted.
What about evidence?
The first thing I saw when I opened my eyes was this positively ghoulish red handprint on the wall. I nearly jumped out of my skin.
A red handprint was left at the scene of the crime at Beech Hill, too. Ms. Rutherford, I'm almost certain that these robberies were committed by the same person.
But why? What is so special about these carvings?
Miss Rutherford, it would be so helpful if I knew exactly what your carving looked like. Could you send me a picture that shows it in detail?
I can do better than a photo. The insurance company made this dreadful replica of the necklace with the idea that I would wear such a thing to public functions. Please. But I could send that to you if you'd like.
Oh, that would be wonderful. How soon could you have it here?
You'll have it tomorrow or the next day. My secretary will have the address of the museum. Now, if that is all you would require, young lady, I will need to attend to other pressing matters.
Thanks a million, Miss Rutherford. I won't let you down.
Call me Prudence. Oh, and Nancy, when you find the villains who did this to me,
do me a favor and give them a sound thrashing.
You're coming through loud and clear. Bye.
Good afternoon, young lady.
Henrik, I received a note from your friends in Copan. I've got the Copan Fool Key. I still need the Pakal, though. How's your memory?
The tomb. Nancy, I hid the Pakal carving in the replica of the Pakal tomb at the bottom of the temple exhibit. Huh, now how did I think of that? And another thing, you'll need to get past that computer quiz. Sonny set it up with an impossible question. No one knows what Pakal was afraid of, but Sonny was petrified of the Coatamundi. It's an ornery bandit with a narrow snout and a long ringed tail, much like a raccoon or a polecat.
Can you tell me what the password is to your disk?
You're asking the wrong amnesiac.
You rest up. I'll be back.
Be careful. Good afternoon, young lady.
You rest up. I'll be back.
Be careful.
Chaco Canyon Cultural Center.
Hi, this is Nancy Drew calling.
Hi, Nancy. It's Sheila. What can I do for you?
I've just got to get my hands on a replica of that jade carving you lost. Do you have any ideas?
Not off the top of my head, but maybe one of my staff will have a bright idea. I need some time to ask around. Can you call back later?
Sure thing.
Feel free to call if you have any more questions.
Daddle residence.
Hi, may I speak to Henry Daddle, please?
Speaking.
Mr. Daddle, my name is Nancy Drew. This is a long shot, but I'm calling regarding a Maya artifact that was bought at auction in 1898 by one Henry Albert Daddle. Does that ring any bells?
Sure. Henry Albert Daddle Sr. was my great-grandfather. You're talking about the jade carving, right?
Yes, exactly. Wow, I can't believe my luck.
Well, it's a lucky life if you ask me. So what can I do for you?
I'm investigating a recent rash of thefts around the country involving similar Maya artifacts. Any information you could give me about the one your great-grandfather bought would be very helpful.
I see. Well, I was the last to inherit the carving, but my daughter Penelope was so intrigued with it that I gave it to her. I'm sure she'd be happy to talk to you about it. Why don't you give her a call on her line? It's 555-3197.
Will do. Thanks, Mr. Daddle.
My pleasure.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number.
Hello? Hi, is this Penelope?
Not even.
Oh, is this 605-555-3197?
Yeah, but no one calls me Penelope anymore. Except my parents, that is. To my friends, the art world, and anyone else who made it out of the 20th century, I'm Poppy.
The art world? Wait, you're not Poppy Dada, are you?
Ta-da! Ping ping! You win! Who's this?
My name's Nancy Drew. I'm a detective.
A detective? No way! So do you get to wear a sassy tweed hat and pick hairs off dead bodies and gross, creepy stuff like that?
Actually, I try to keep a low profile, and a tweed hat, well, it's a little conspicuous.
So, where'd you get my name? Don't tell me I'm like wanted by the FBI or something. That would be too scandalous.
No. You see, it's all a big coincidence. Your dad's name came up in connection with a case I'm working on.
Go Dad. Don't tell me he's wanted by the FBI. I'll be so jealous.
Sorry, Poppy. There's no FBI in on this case, and your dad's not wanted.
Okay, what then?
Someone is stealing Maya antiquities, jade carvings to be exact, and leaving this scary red handprint at the scene of every crime.
Ghastly. So, what's with the red hand?
It's printed with this stuff called cinnabar. Nobody seems to know what it means. All I know is the more I investigate, the more complicated it gets.
Drama. So, where do the daddles come in?
I'm trying to track down certain Maya jade carvings that haven't fallen into the thief's hands yet. I think one of them might be in your family.
You mean that ancient green rock with the weird symbol on it? I slapped some shoe polish on it and stuck it in one of my paintings.
You're kidding. That's a one-of-a-kind Maya artifact, a piece of history. It's hundreds of years old. It's worth a lot of money.
That's the whole point. Have you heard the saying that a work of art is never finished, just abandoned? Well, I'm taking that idea to the limit by making art that will keep changing as different people encounter, perceive, and interact with it. I'm tired of artwork that says, "Don't touch." I'm all about letting go, about sending my work into the world and seeing how it continues to become. Don't you see? It's an organic process. I mean, how can people really relate to art if it doesn't come to life and grow and die just like they do? That carving is part of something bigger now.
I can't imagine your dad would be very pleased about this. Does he know?
Oh, Nancy, don't be such a prude. Taylor's probably still got that artwork. At least, I don't think he sold it yet. Why don't you ask him? Tell him you want to see the piece called Deadly Midnight Snack. It's the one with the rubber shark.
The one with the rubber shark. Yes, I've seen it, but I didn't notice any jade carving.
Well, take a closer look there, sweets. It's in there. If you really need the carving to crack this case, why don't you just go ahead and take it?
But wouldn't it ruin your painting?
Of course not. After all, this is a chance to enact exactly what I've been talking about. The organic process. Inviting my viewers to interact with my work. The deal is, you can take the carving, but you have to put something in its place.
Something in its place? Like what? An old shoe? A subway token? A movie stub?
No, it should be something more organic. Stay with the title, Deadly Midnight Snack. And don't be afraid to go way out. As an artist, I can tell you that inspiration bites in the most mysterious ways.
I'll do my best.
Right on. But let's keep Taylor out of this. He'd probably blow a gasket if he saw you tampering with the merchandise. That's all art is to him, you know. Merchandise.
I'll make sure he doesn't detect a thing.
Good luck, Nancy.
Thanks, Poppy. Bye.
Any news?
Mind if I help myself to one of those scrumptious-looking Oaxacan cookies?
Be my guest. Any news?
May I take a closer look at that wacky Dada painting?
Be my guest. I just had a call from Poppy this morning. She says she's in a really creative period right now. I said, please, sweetie, if you get any more creative, they're going to lock you up.
Pardon me a moment, Nancy. I'll be right back. I hope.
Poppy said to replace it with something organic. It needs a card.
Hut. 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 Hut.
It needs a card. It's locked. I wonder if Henrik would remember the answer. It's locked. It's too dark in here. I need a light.
Chaco Canyon Cultural Center.
Hi, this is Nancy Drew calling.
Hi, Nancy. It's Sheila. Well, we racked our brains. Finally, one of my staff came up with the original box that the carving was packed in. The piece was encased in a tight foam cast to prevent damage during shipping. I'm not sure how much good it'll do you, but I can send it to you if you like.
That just might work.
Henrik left Beech Hill as his forwarding address, so I know what to do. I'll send it express.
Thanks a million, Sheila.
Good luck with your investigation.
Thanks for clearing my name, Nancy. Honestly, I mean, what kind of moron would I be to try and ruin my own exhibit? Anyway, we need to make up for lost time. I need you to go to the storeroom and start unpacking some of those crates. One of the pieces has a fancy security device on it. The code is 0677.
Sure thing, Joanna. I'll see you later.
Semper ubi sub ubi.
I bet I can make a mold from this foam core. Something's missing here. According to Henrik's notes, I need to make a key out of these pieces. Now I have the key. Interesting. Something's missing here. It's locked. Wow, these are heavy. I'm not sure I can hold on to these stones for very much longer. I've got to put these things down. Something's missing here. Something's missing here. The poem said, when the first king ascends again. It looks like a keyhole. I'll have to choose which side of the cube goes here. Nothing happened. I've already solved this part. It looks like a keyhole. This should be the last step. I wonder what's inside. It's blank.
Who's your friend, Nancy? Boo.
Taylor Sinclair.
Who'd you expect, the Tooth Fairy? Looks like someone forgot her beauty cream. I guess we can't all age gracefully.
I'm sure she would say the same about you.
You've been a top-notch assistant, Nancy, but I'm afraid you're just not going to make it in the art world.
Why are you doing this?
Nancy, do you have any idea what that book contains?
Help me out, Sinclair. I'm drawing a blank.
The Whisperer's writings are the only known personal account of Maya life, the only written glimpse into Bakal's time anywhere. Do you know what I can get for that thing on the black market?
You have no right to do this. The book is not yours to sell.
Simple economics suggest otherwise. And I am the art dealer.
This tomb and all of its contents belong to Mexico.
Finders keepers, I say. Nobody even realizes this thing has any contents. Won't they get a surprise when they finally open it up and find that it contains a 7th century scribe and a 21st century detective? Adios, Nancy.
I'm starting to run out of air in here. I gotta get out of here. I'm suffocating in here. Let me out. I can't breathe. This may be the scribe's notes about Bakal.
Behold, our heroine emerges from the tomb, like a mermaid from the sea.
Meanwhile, the foolish villain stews in the sour soup of his own miscalculation.
From deep in the recesses of time, a wise royal scribe whispers her thanks.
And a priceless chapter of history is rescued from obscurity. Way to go, Nancy!
What in the world? Ah! Confound you, Nancy Drew!
Dear Dad, it was great to talk to you on the phone last night. I can't wait to see you back in River Heights where I can fill you in on the whole story. Can you believe that your own daughter was recently standing face to face with a real mummy? Now that the scribe's book has been recovered, I understand how important it is and why Taylor thought he could make a fortune selling it on the black market. The book contains one of the only personal accounts of Maya life and existence anywhere. I'm sure it'll be a tremendous addition to our knowledge of the Maya once it's translated, that is. And now that Henrik's memory is back up to speed again, I'm sure he'll be itching to get to work on it. Taylor Sinclair won't be making any art deals for a long time, though, that's for sure. I guess I shouldn't be surprised about Alejandro's discovery that the Pakal carving's provenance documents were faked after all. When Franklin Rose and the board found out, they arranged to return the artifact to Mexico right away. Mexican officials are so happy to have the artifact back, they have pledged a new era of diplomatic relations with Beech Hill. Joanna sure learned her lesson about making deals with shady operators like Taylor. The board has agreed to give her another chance as long as she reforms her business tactics. And what else? Oh yes, Poppy Dada's announced a new direction in her artwork. All her new paintings are going to feature, what else? Mysterious red handprints. So I guess everyone is taking off in new directions now. I'm going to stay and help this exhibit get launched. But I'll see you back at home in a couple of weeks. Have a safe trip home. Love, Nancy.
Dear Nancy, Bess and George told me you're on a case in D.C. I hope everything is working out for you. I wish I could say the same for me. I'm planning on living here, but there's been some trouble. I think someone or something doesn't want me here. Please, Nancy, I'm afraid I can't stay here very much longer. I know you're busy, but I'm desperate. I need you to come out and investigate. Please say you will. Your friend, Sally.